If saving your child meant your entire village must die, what would you choose? Long before memory learned how to remember, there was a land called Akunle, a proud village built from red earth and ancient laws. Its king was called Adekunle, a man feared for his voice and obeyed for his crown. His queen was Morenike, and their only son was Prince Sola, the light of the palace and the future of the throne. In those days, justice in Akunle was swift and final. And one morning, a young man was dragged into the square, accused of poisoning a nobleman. The crowd shouted for blood. They wanted an example. They wanted fear to be remembered. The young man cried that he was innocent, but his words were softer than the drums of anger. King Adekunle looked down from his throne. He hesitated only once, then lifted his hand. The executioner's blade fell. That young man was the only son of an old woman named Mama Esira. From that day, Mama Esira came to the palace every morning and every evening. She cried at the gates. She beat her chest. She shouted into the wind, "You have taken my child. May your own children know the pain of sickness. May your land taste hunger. May your crown sit on suffering." The villagers mocked her. The guards chased her away. And one night, she was driven from Akunle into the forest like a wounded animal. At the edge of the village, beneath a dead tree, Mama Esira knelt. She pressed her hands into the soil of Akunle and whispered her last breath into the earth. "Let this land carry my grief. Let this land drink my tears. Let this land remember my son." And then she died. For years, nothing happened. Until the crop stopped growing. Until children began to cough blood. Until animals fell in the streets. Until wells dried like broken mouths. Fear spread faster than fire. King Adekunle called for his chief priest, Balagun, a man whose eyes had seen spirits and whose tongue spoke for gods. Balagun cast bones. He read smoke. He listened to the wind. Then he said, "The curse of Mama Esira walks among us." The king demanded, "How do we stop it?" Balagun answered slowly, "The gods ask for a sacrifice that will wound your heart." Two choices were placed before the throne. Either Prince Sola must die, or half of Akunle must die in one night. The palace fell silent. The villagers whispered. Some blamed the king. Some prayed for the prince to fall instead of them. Some sharpened knives in fear. King Adekunle did not sleep. He did not eat. He stared at his son and saw both life and death. Then, from the mouth of a child, hope crawled out. A little boy said, "There is a woman who never comes outside. She knows old secrets. She might be of help to you, my king." The king set out and found her deep in the edge of the village. Her name was Iya Ifaseyin. Her eyes were empty of light. She whispered, "There is a river older than kings. It is called Omi Iran, the river of wisdom. Whoever drinks from it will know the right choice. But the road to these river eats men." She spoke of Igbo Iku, the forest of death. She spoke of spirits that demand flesh. She spoke of waters that steal reflections. With no other path and no options, King Adekunle gathered 15 warriors to go with him and left before dawn. They entered Igbo Iku at dawn, but the sun did not follow them. The trees swallowed the light. The air was thick, heavy, like the forest was breathing against their skin. No birds, no insects, only their footsteps and the sound of their own fear. Then the ground trembled. A shape rose between the trees. Tall, crooked, made of ribs and shadow. Its stomach was hollow, like a starving drum. Eyes burned like dying coals. Its voice cracked like dry wood. "I am Ajigun of hunger." The leaves shriveled at its words. "Nothing passes my path unfed." The warriors tightened their grips on their spears. The king stepped forward. "What do you want?" The spirit smiled, its mouth opened too wide. "Meat," Silence. No one breathed. Then one warrior stepped forward. Oluwol. Young. Newly married. He removed his helmet slowly. "My king," he said quietly, "if you die, the village dies. If I die, only one house cries." His hands were shaking, but his voice did not break. "Tell my wife, I did not run." Before anyone could speak, the spirit stretched its shadow. The darkness swallowed him whole. No scream, no blood, just gone. The forest path opened, as if satisfied. The king's chest tightened. One life, already paid. And the journey had barely begun. They walked deeper. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time lost meaning. Then the wind began to whisper. Soft at first, then louder, then screaming. It sounded like voices, crying, calling their names. Two warriors turned. Did you hear that? The wind wrapped around them like hands, lifted them, dragged them into the trees. Their spears fell first. Then silence. The forest did not give them back. No body, no sound, nothing. The remaining men stopped speaking after that. Fear was now a second heartbeat. An old woman appeared. She was all covered and shaking and pleaded for help. Three warriors went to give her a hand, and she led them away into darkness. They never came back. Near dusk, they reached a narrow stream. Still water, too still, like glass. One warrior bent to drink, then froze. My king. His reflection was not him. It was an old man, wrinkled, dying, eyes empty. Another saw his reflection too. A corpse, rotting. Both screamed. The water rose like fingers, pulled them under. The surface smoothed again, like nothing had ever happened. Men began to break. One dropped his spear and cried. Another laughed uncontrollably. One whispered prayers to gods he had never believed in. The forest did not attack them anymore. It simply waited, watching, feeding on their terror. One by one, they faded. Not violently, just disappeared between the trees, as if the forest was collecting a debt. By nightfall, only three remained, the king and two warriors. Then drums began to beat. Slow, heavy, no drummers, just sound in the air. Boom, boom, boom. One warrior fell to his knees, clutching his chest. His heart matched the drums. Faster, harder, until it stopped. He died without a wound. The last warrior looked at the king with tears. My lord, I cannot. Before he finished, something moved behind him. A shadow stepped out of another shadow and pulled him backward into darkness. His scream echoed forever. Silence. Total. Complete. Only King Adekunle remained. Alone. No soldiers. No crown. No army. Just a father, walking through a forest that had eaten 15 lives. For one answer, then he saw it. Omi, Iran. The river of wisdom. It glowed faintly blue in the darkness. Not flowing, breathing, like it was alive. The water reflected stars that were not in the sky. He stepped closer, and the river showed him everything. Mama Isira crying, her son begging, the crowd shouting, the blade falling, his hand raised, his command, his pride, his mistake, over and over. Not a curse, not gods, not fate, just him. A voice entered his mind, deep as the earth. You ask who must die, but you never asked who should have lived. His legs trembled. For the first time in his life, King Adekunle wept. Not as a king, not as a ruler, but as a man who finally understood what he had broken. He knelt, scooped the water, drank. When he returned to Akunle, he carried no warriors, no glory, no answers of blood, only truth. He did not kill his son. He did not kill his people. Instead, he built a shrine on Mama Asira's grave. He confessed before the village. He cleared her son's name. He ended unjust executions forever. He knelt every evening where she once cried, and begged forgiveness, not from the gods, from the dead. After 1 month, rain returned. Crops rose. Children healed. The curse lifted, not because someone died, but because someone finally listened. And when other villages asked, "How did you become wise, great king?" he answered softly, "The river did not give me power. It gave me truth." And Akunle remembered, wisdom is not choosing who must die. It is choosing who must never die again. So tell me, if you were the king, who would you choose?